They were icons. They were legends. They lit up the screen, and their cigarettes became part of their identity. But behind the glamour was a hidden cost. Today, we uncover the 7 most intense female smokers of classic Hollywood, whose lives show both the brilliance of stardom and the price of addiction. Bette Davis, the raspy icon. Bette Davis was a force of nature. Known for All About Eve and Jezebel, she could command the screen with just a glare. But her other constant presence? A cigarette. Davis reportedly smoked up to 100 a day, and her raspy, commanding voice became her trademark. For audiences, it added to her allure. For Davis, it left a legacy of strokes, illness, and a body worn down by decades of addiction. Hollywood may have sold cigarettes as sophistication, but Davis's story is a reminder that the price was painfully real. Joan Crawford, cloaked in smoke. Joan Crawford, star of Mildred Pierce and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, was the definition of ambition and polish. Rarely seen without a cigarette, she made smoking part of her armor. On screen, it projected poise and strength. Behind the scenes, it chipped away at her health. By her later years, the glamorous Crawford was visibly aged, her once crisp voice frayed. She died of a heart attack at 73, with smoking almost certainly playing a role. Crawford's career was dazzling, but her decline shows the dark side of Hollywood's obsession with appearances. Barbara Stanwyck, a childhood habit that never left. Barbara Stanwyck's career spanned decades, built on her tough, no-nonsense persona. But her relationship with cigarettes began shockingly early. She started smoking at just 9 years old. That habit followed her for life, becoming both her on-screen accessory and her off-screen vice. By her later years, the damage was unavoidable: chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and heart failure. Stanwyck died at 82, her extraordinary career shadowed by the toll of smoking. Her story shows how early and deeply cigarettes were woven into Hollywood's culture. Tallulah Bankhead, the flamboyant smoker. If anyone turned smoking into a spectacle, it was Tallulah Bankhead. Bold, witty, and unfiltered, she was one of Hollywood's most flamboyant stars. And with good reason. She reportedly smoked up to 120 cigarettes a day. For Bankhead, cigarettes were more than a habit. They were part of her persona, her rebellion against norms, her fuel for that husky, unforgettable voice. But her health paid the price. She battled emphysema and pneumonia and died at 66. Bankhead remains a legend, but also a cautionary tale of how addiction can become inseparable from identity. Marlene Dietrich, cigarettes as style. Marlene Dietrich mastered the art of image. With her androgynous style and magnetic screen presence, she used cigarettes as a visual trademark. Whether in films or in photographs, a cigarette was never just a cigarette. It was elegance, power, and danger. Dietrich turned smoking into part of the femme fatale archetype. Off-screen, though, it wasn't just an act. She smoked heavily her entire life. Though she lived to 90, her final years were marked by frailty and health struggles. Dietrich's story proves how Hollywood transformed cigarettes into symbols, and how those symbols scarred the stars who carried them. Vivien Leigh, glamour with a hidden cost. Vivien Leigh's performance as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind remains one of the greatest in film history. But while audiences saw elegance and fire, behind the scenes Leigh faced enormous struggles: fame, mental illness, and tuberculosis. Smoking became her escape, and during her peak years, she was known to smoke up to 4 packs a day. The habit worsened her tuberculosis, cutting her life tragically short. She died at just 53. Leigh embodied the allure of classic Hollywood, but her story shows how its pressures often drove stars to dangerous coping mechanisms. Lucille Ball, comedy's queen with a hidden habit. Lucille Ball was America's comedy sweetheart. With I Love Lucy, she redefined television and became a household name. But off-screen, she was rarely without a cigarette. For more than 6 decades, smoking was her constant companion, even during rehearsals and meetings. By the 1980s, her health began to unravel. She underwent heart surgery and battled severe lung issues before passing away in 1989 at age 77. Ball's story is particularly striking because her cheerful image masked the quiet damage of a habit that Hollywood once brushed aside as harmless. For these women, cigarettes were never just personal choices. They were industry props, woven into scripts, photo shoots, and publicity campaigns. Stars were encouraged to smoke, even expected to. The result? A generation of icons who embodied glamour while quietly battling addiction. These 7 women lit up screens with their talent and charisma, but off-screen, the smoke followed them everywhere. Their legacies endure, but so does the lesson their lives left behind. What once looked like sophistication was, in truth, a slow and devastating cost of fame. If you enjoyed this look into Hollywood's hidden history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because the untold stories of cinema's greatest stars deserve to be remembered.